read all the cards. And as you read them, look for things that create commonality. And see if you can name what those things are. Okay? And if you need to, move the cards under categories so you kind of get them grouped. Okay? See what comes up.
There's a whole bunch about leading, changing your
Okay.
Location.
location and
Life course, right?
London. It's from London here.
Okay. You want, yeah, let's start pulling them, right? So there's this one. This one. Yeah.
What's that one?
So interesting. Okay, my birthday occurred on the night of the Northridge earthquake. I learned that the earth is alive.
Wow, that's
I know. That's like.
I thought maybe visual.
visual inspiration.
Yeah.
I would
But
take
there's
that
not
with
very
that. I
physical
would take
type.
that with that inspiration
Yeah,
from the
like
earth and the sky. When you have earthquake, the movement of the earth, and it's not just visual; it's also kinetic. It's
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happens is that you start to see categories come up that tell you about the dynamic of the group. So for the people, for the group leader, the art leader, it tells you a lot about who you're working with. And so in this case, you can read these categories and you begin to see that there's a tremendous amount of self-reflection going on within the group. The group is reflective. It's trying to develop its own power. And it's doing that. The agency you talk about is really, it's doing it through education. It's doing it through creative life. And it also requires you leaving what you're comfortable with, right? Am I describing graduate students? So you're looking at, you're leaving where you came from and the comfort of that to find another idea. You're also suffering loss in ways that begin to be real world loss that you can pay attention to and you can be present to. At this point in your life, you've had people murdered, you've had people leave, you've been betrayed. So you're dealing with all those circumstances and you're reflective enough that you're beginning to understand what those things mean. Are you surprised at what you find in the group? Isn't it more complex than you thought? Okay, so now I'm speaking to you about.
Yeah, we're more similar, that we've come through tragedy and senses, and we're empowering ourselves through our education, and that's formative for us.
One of these categories has more appeal to you than another. Okay, and you may not even have a card in it. You know, in other words, typically your cards start to fall in different places, but then you think, I should have talked about that because that's really big for me, right? And what I want you to do is to go and stand in that category and see what your fellow students do in terms of categories they stand. Trust and betrayal. Okay. So it's what moves me. In other words, I read these cards and I identify them with them. Maybe I didn't write a card here, right? But I go to the place that I kind of identify, and I feel like I know something about this, right? Okay, that's what you're doing. Debbie. Agency, okay. Trust, okay.
Leaving.
Leaving and leaving, okay.
Visual inspiration.
Embodiment of those ideas and the representative of your fellow students, those voices that are not your voice typically, but you will represent all of those voices. And your assignment is to meet with each other and design something that represents these ideas back to us in an informative or visual or poetic, whatever way you choose. But you're not going to write a paper.